let's talk about big news today. Now, this is old news for anybody listening, so it'll be fascinating to hear this in hindsight. But probably the biggest political event in my life happened today in Canadian politics, where
in your life, did you just say?
Yeah, I think so. It's a really big deal.
It's that big. Okay.
It's that big. Have you read the letter that she wrote?
No.
You got to read the letter.
Okay.
So Chrystia Freeland, and if you're an American, I don't know if any Americans listen to this thing or from other countries, but we have a finance minister who's the deputy minister in Canada, right under the prime minister, second in command. Ironically, in Canada, there's only one dictator. That's the prime minister. It's always been like that. And it's not just because we have a real dictator in there now, even when conservative governments have been in. The prime minister, ironically, and I was taught this in Social Studies 11 by a great social studies teacher, but the prime minister has probably more power than the president does in the US.
Way more.
Like they have everybody whipped. They have the whole party toeing the line. Nobody's,
That's why I like the American system better, because they have way less power. And it's way more checked with the four forms of government. But
I don't like that.
Digress.
I digress. I personally like our model, and I know my brother and I have a bet, right? I've told you this, that we have a bet who's going to be prime minister first. So I'll beat you both. I would prefer that it would just stay how it is in case I do get in power. But anyways.
That'd be scary.
Could you imagine? Supreme dictator. Anyways, Chrystia Freeland, finance minister, was set to prepare to give her fall economic update today in the House of Commons. And at the exact moment, basically, when she was supposed to come out, and at the exact moment that somebody else gave their resignation, she gave her resignation, saying that she was basically, and there's a whole bunch of backstory here with a lady, I forget her name, Phil Pott, another great cabinet minister, Jody Raymond Wilson, who wrote a book called Indian in the Cabinet. My wife's read it. It's one of her, just an amazing book. I'm going to read it now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal book. Just skewers our great supreme leader, mostly because he's such a virtue signaler. It's one thing if you run over women, but if you act like you are the greatest supporter of, wouldn't even know what a female.
He is a chronic liar,
narcissist, controlling psychopath. But anyways, that was pretty derogatory. But he definitely does not treat these ladies well. And this lady or anybody else. But this lady has been his right hand. Very. I think a lot of us would say not that competent. But I would say not that competent. But when somebody like Chrystia Freeland says, hey, we've gone and we've spent too much and we've gone too far, we're in deep trouble. And it all stems, and we hardly touched on it, but I've been lighting my hair on fire ever since, about the $250 check that was supposed to come to every working person that was making less than $150,000 a year. Now that was not going to come anyways. And I think for sure it's not coming now, but it wasn't going to pass because nobody would support it. Yeah. The NDP wanted the Liberal Party to even give up. The
HST, PST thing did pass.
That did go through, so that's happening. Total nightmare. Some companies aren't even bother implementing it. I think it's going to save about $4 or $5 per Canadian. The problem is that adds up to over $1 billion. So it's like, we're going to say, hey, we're going to add on $1 billion in long-term debt so we can all save $4. No, let's keep the $4. Let's keep the federal deficit down. Yeah. So interestingly enough, they did come out with the statement today. The news, the whole world was afire in the political spectrum of kind of how upset, how crazy it was. He didn't show his face, to my knowledge. Now, I didn't watch the news tonight or whatever, but
what did she say in her letter?
Basically that he had tried to say she was no longer going to be the cat. He was just going to shuffle her into a new role because she refused to toe his line. And it's interesting because he had the same thing with Bill Murneau, who was the finance minister, who is a way more conservative version of finance than Chrystia Freeland is. And his chief of staff, I think it was his chief of staff, wrote a scathing review on Justin Trudeau as well today on the prime minister. So Bill Murneau's in hindsight now that this had come out. Everybody gets brave at the end, right? It's fascinating how everybody pulls out the knives.
I did read somewhere today too that he's considering stepping down now.
Oh, I'm sure he's considering it every day, but
I doubt it actually will.
I doubt it. So it's
so how do you think this works internally? Do you think he just is running a one-man show? Do you think he's like he has this, a few of his people pushing his buttons and saying this is what you should be doing? He's not that smart, is he?
Oh, I think the actual control piece and the decision making, even for example, the idea to give out the checks is a completely Trudeau idea. They did not call an economist, not even a liberal economist. They didn't call any economist to ask if that was a good idea. It's super inflationary. It was just buy votes. People hate us. How will people like us? We'll give them money. People are pretty dumb. And people are pretty dumb. In 2021, he got elected with a minority government.
That's part of it. I blame
when
the media
you
for
call
that.
an election.
I blame the media for that.
No.
The media pushes that guy as the hero.
They do.
If they were honest, he would not have been elected once.
They do, but
he's a drama teacher.
He is a drama teacher. He's creating the drama. You got to give him credit.
He's doing a good job.
He's doing a good job.
He should get an A+ in that category.
Yeah. But anyways, I find it fascinating. I'm a total political junkie, and I will be very curious by the time this comes out. Has he resigned? Has he stepped down? And so the other interesting thing is she didn't resign as an MP or anything, right? Like she just stepped out of cabinet.
Yeah.
So it's as if she's pulling, like she's always just kind of been there taking the crap and wearing everything that he's put on her. And now she's doing this. It's like she's just priming herself up to run against him when he finally says, hey, I'm not going to be the leader going into the next election. Or eventually the entire caucus, like with the entire Liberal Party, all the members revolt and say, hey, we've had enough, you are done, which they can do. They can do that.
I mean, they were talking about it already like a month ago.
Yeah.
So.
Well, 30 or 40 of them have written a letter, but there's quite a few of them. So pretty interesting. Anyways.
I mean, and Jagmeet Singh was like calling for his resignation today. And I'm like, Jagmeet, you can call the flipping election now.
Yeah.
So how it works for the Americans is that there's 3 big parties. There's actually 4 parties. There's a Quebec party, which is basically a separatist party. They want to peace out, which I'd be okay with. Then you have the Conservatives, which aren't really conservatives except for fiscally. Then you have the Liberals, and then you have the NDP, which is basically like Ocasio-Cortez.
Liberals on steroids.
And so that leader, Jagmeet Singh, he could call an election if they like had the majority of seats, basically. But
he can force it at any time, but he has not because he wanted his pension.
Yes.
And he would not have got elected back in. And so he waited, he's stalling it until he's served enough days. There's exact amount of days that they have to have served before they get their pension, which is for life. And it's costing us a lot of money. I forget the number that
There's a Shark Tank guy that offered him like 10 million to like just take it now and just call the election and just say like
Mr. Wonderful?
No, another one.
Okay.
That said, I'll pay your pension, just call the election. Okay. So anyways, that's it for today. We are going to get into overtime. Thank you very much for listening. Always appreciate it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Only if you want to, as Gary says.
No pressure. No pressure.
If we're going to edit overtime, thanks for listening. Merry Christmas.
Have a great Christmas with your families.
And we'll see you guys on New Year's. Cheers. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, bringing the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.